Hello, thank you so much for joining. This is a short talk on mindfulness of emotions. So, you know how we, in previous classes, which hopefully you've watched, we're learning to bring a focused attention to our breath, learning to bring awareness to the sounds around us, feeling states, sensations in our body as we start to sit in meditation and get acclimated of sitting in silence and creating this presence for what is here. Well, emotions is a huge part of all of our lives, right? They say that we make decisions. The decisions that we make are 90% ran by how we feel about those decisions, right? So emotions are a huge role in just the everyday, day-to-day life, and recognizing these emotions when they're present is just so important. Learning how to really create this capacity of just being with what's here once we recognize them. We are in a culture that we are so disconnected just from our bodies. We're constantly, trying to, I think Jack Kornfield, one of my teachers, talks about how we're in the society of just trying to always be comfortable, right? We're either going to turn on the air condition to be cooler or turn on the heater to be warmer, put more blankets, turn up the fan, turn down the music. So we're just this culture where we're trying to constantly fix or change the present moment. And it's really hard for us to just kind of, if I'm feeling anxiety, for example, because I'm speaking to you, making this video, if I cultivate awareness, I can feel in my heart that have a little bit of fluttering heart, racing heart, a little bit of anxiety. And, through our experience as a culture, the moment we notice, oh, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling a headache, or anything uncomfortable, we want to fix it. We want to change it. So it's like, if I'm feeling anxiety for trying to talk here on the video, it's almost like there's something wrong with me because I'm having this anxiety. Like, why should I be having anxiety? What's wrong with me? So it's learning how to create awareness to the emotions that we're experiencing. And Tara Brach, one of my teachers, talks about it's like two wings on a bird. One wing is creating that awareness, which I've spoken to in a previous video, which is the introduction to mindfulness. But we talk about the two wings. First wing is awareness, recognizing what is here. And that second wing is learning how to allow it to be here with this non-judgmental, just loving compassion. And both of these here is what helps create space for everything that's going on in our human experience. So again, for example, if I'm feeling anxiety because I have to speak, and I can feel my heart racing, it's okay. It's about recognizing, okay, heart, I see you're fluttering. I see anxiety, you're here. And you're allowed to be here. It's okay. So learning how to create this capacity to be with what is It's difficult for us it's difficult to be with difficulty, whether it's blame or shame or frustration, stress, sadness, anger. There's so many different emotions that arise. I mean, if you stop and think, it's like go on to Google and search emotions and see how many different emotions, the list and how big it is. And sometimes, for example, I'm feeling anxious, but that's the surface level. It's what I'm feeling, but underneath it, what's really underneath that anxiety that I'm feeling? Probably fear of not being good enough on screen. Maybe that imposter syndrome's coming up, of fear of not being a good enough mindfulness teacher. And so again, it's just learning how to just be with what is, creating this capacity. And I have to look at my notes. So the real question, for us human beings is, if we want to live a life with a full capacity of presence and wisdom and understanding, how can we touch into these ever-changing dimensions of feelings, of emotions? How can we create a capacity to be with all of it? Right? So there's just so much. And the first thing for me is, through my experience of just this practice, being able to recognize when emotions are here is the first step. So like I told you, I recognize that I'm nervous of speaking. And I always invite my students that as soon as you recognize that there's an emotion state here, that you're feeling some type of emotion, I always ask my students to even maybe stop and just close your eyes and touch into where you're feeling that emotion in the body. Like now, I feel my heart racing. It's connecting with our bodies. We really want to, again, we're such a culture of being disconnected from our bodies, just stuck in our heads all the time, all day long. Do you know that when we feel an emotion, it usually only lasts for about 1.5 minutes? But because we attach thoughts to those emotions, we ruminate and then we loop over and over and over and over again. And that emotion can keep us stuck. Or that thought being, creating a thought to the emotion will keep us stuck in an emotion state for sometimes hours, days, weeks, right? So it's just really learning how to recognize when emotion is here, naming it. Naming emotions is so important, because when you name it, you're taking its power away from you. You're not completely merged with it anymore, because you are objectively naming the emotion that's here. So it's like, for example, anxiety. Where do I feel it? I feel it in my chest. Anxiety. And now it's about creating that capacity to allow it to be here. Okay, anxiety, you're here. You're allowed to be here, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being anxious or having anxiety. And sometimes it might be difficult to feel emotions in your body, because again, like I said, we're very disconnected from our bodies, especially if we grew up with trauma, or not feeling safe in our bodies. So if you can't feel any sensation, please know that there's nothing wrong, that it's also very normal. And this is a practice, and I'm going to help you cultivate this practice and deepen your practice. So for now, I invite you to just start by recognizing any emotions that come to you throughout your day, naming them, and try feeling them in the body. But again, if you can't feel them, it's okay. It's all okay. Again, it's recognizing what's here and allowing it to be here just the way it is. Not trying to fix or change anything. Okay? And for me in my practice, that allowing part is the biggest part of learning how to be mindful, is just allowing whatever is here to be here just the way it is. All right, so I hope you liked my talk, and please follow my meditation to help you deepen your practice with emotions. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.